Alright, MTP Toaster here with what's probably the first of a few Sprocket building videos. So there's a new update for Sprocket, it's got internals, and I'm really excited about that. Unfortunately, we don't have the scenarios yet. But anyways, I really do like building. And one of my favorite parts is playing this human game of Tetris with the crew. They're called Joshes, which is real funny. But anyways, yeah. So I started this off just trying to make something like a generic Italian armored car or something. Then I decided, I'll stick with the tank. Here I am trying to figure out the weapon. Not sure how good it is, but if you notice there, I named this little shitbox the Carro Armato Caca. Well, I probably shouldn't use such strong language, but I don't really care. Anyways, yep. One real important thing with Sprocket is learning how to balance your gun. And the gun's pretty balanced already, so that's alright by me. Now I'm gonna take this thing for a little spin here. But yeah, my building process involves a lot of iteration and just testing the body. And as you could probably see, it's really front heavy right now. You can see with that little tilt. But yeah, back to the drawing board. And it was here where I decided I'll just make a Super L3. And yeah, you can see it starts to take that sort of shape, but I decided around here with this gun that it was gonna be a little more different. And here you can see me playing with these transmissions. Nothing good ever comes from this, and I just decide to go back. And just keep editing the body here. As you can see, I don't really like messing with custom mantlets. I just put a prop there and all my problems are solved. I'm just not confident enough with them yet. And and the wheels always do give me a little bit of trouble, getting them the right length for optimal suspension. And a little more human Tetris and put on some details. And here we are, testing it out again. And you're gonna see me struggling with this a little bit because I forgot how to make the gun turn horizontally. Well, you know, make the gun turn left and right. And remembering that I did do it for something else, but I couldn't remember how I did it. Maybe I'll show you guys those vehicles in a later video. But yeah, one of my favorite activities is donuts. And here I am, I'm trying to get a good look at the wheels here to see how and they displease me, being so close together. Yeah, and here it is, taking its shape just a little more. And at this point, I'd consider it almost done, except there's a lot of empty space inside, so I decide a little bit after this to really cram more people in there to get this a full, proper SPG, instead of whatever the L3 in real life was. Pretty sure it's just like a scout tankette, or tank. Oh, and here's a little pet peeve of mine, are the cupolas. So cupolas are really big and they don't make a hole in the tank so you can stick a tank commander's head through them. I hope they change that. Well, I hope it gets changed sometime soon. I know the turrets automatically make holes in your tank roof, but not the cupola, so I decided just for a tank hatch to sort of look the part. And since there's no real purpose for a tank commander, I've made him load the gun. And yeah, you're gonna see me mess with this for a while here. And, I've figured out how to make it turn. And I'm deciding on whether or not elevation really matters or not. Here's a hint, it does. Oh, and that's me trying to put some outside details on the inside to act as a sort of radio. because a pet peeve of mine are making tanks that don't have a radio operator. Radios were super important for, well, really, radios are super important altogether for any sort of warfare. But in tanks especially, having a dedicated radio operator, you know, it's important. You know, the guy over there.
In 3.2, there is a dog by your tank. I want your tank commander to come out and give it a treat.
Or something like that. I'm not sure how a tank commander gameplay-wise would really work out. Maybe they could identify enemy tanks and a radio operator could identify friendly tanks. Maybe give them a blue outline or some text over their tank visage. But that's kind of a really overpowered mechanic. But I guess, you know, tanks with commanders and radio operators would be overpowered. This is basically done, but it just needs some fine-tuning at this point. And one thing I'm noticing here is how slowly the gun is traversing, and I'm going to try and mess with some values here to make that just a little faster. And since it's supposed to be a Super L3, it should be relatively quick, since it is super after all. Yep, that's just me trying to figure out how this goes, and now for a little demonstration. One thing I really don't like is how the tank gunner always tries to track your reticle. There's a button to just hold the gun in place, but I don't think I remember which button that is, and I have to rebind that in the settings or something like that. I'm pretty sure I set it to C. Now, as you can see, it is a pro at going over bumps. The Italians could never dream of a tank this good. Of course, the tank crew probably have this kind of tank in their nightmares. Yeah, and there's one of those logs for comparison about how small this tank is. And it's less than 10 tons too, which is surprising because, well, the only armor is in the front of that tank. And here's some more off-roading. And I love the way the suspension animates on those. Now I'm just gonna go for the ramp here. Yep, that's the L3 Super. Hope you like it. Hope it's inspired you to make some of your own cool tanks in Sprocket. But yeah, that's the Super L3.